Japan is in the process of creating something truly revolutionary, a stealth fighter that boasts capabilities even the most revered fighter cannot compete with. This island country's strive for technological development and advancement has not gone unnoticed, and after spending billions of dollars to improve its military might and bolster its defense system, it has achieved something that has shocked the world. What is Japan working on? Is there a reason for this country's sudden investment in its military sector? Join us as we delve into the unique details of Japan's Godzilla FX stealth fighter, which just got even scarier. After the Second World War, when Japan was being controlled by Allied countries, several changes were made, and these changes had a severe impact on the country's economy, society, and government. One of the main changes to Japan's economy was the addition of Article 9 to its constitution, which prohibited them from having a military sector. They also stopped the country from making weapons of war. When the Korean War started, the American soldiers that were stationed in Japan had to leave to put an end to the conflict, thereby leaving Japan unprotected. After the realization dawned on them, the United States leaders in charge of Japan at the time pushed the country to build its own military and adjusted the constitution that prohibited them from doing so. This led to the creation of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces. Japanese companies embarked on the process of fixing and making equipment for American soldiers in Asia in 1952. Then, in 1954, Japan's defense industry started making weapons for the Japanese Self-Defense Force and was utilizing American designs. This is how Japan became a country that produces its own weapons, ammunition, and fighters. Moving forward to 1954, Japan signed a deal with the U.S., and the deal was referred to as the Mutual Security Assistance Pact. This agreement enabled Japan to buy and even make American weapons under some conditions that were set out in the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security between both nations. Ever since then, Japan has continuously made waves with its increased innovation of advanced technology, one of which is the Mitsubishi FX. This stealth fighter, also known as the F3, is JASDF's latest creation that is being developed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industry. It is the first stealth jet made in Japan, and it will be used to replace the Mitsubishi F2 by the mid-2030s. The development of this fighter stands to enhance the strength of Japan's defense industry. This aircraft will also be sold internationally. On the 9th of December 2022, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Italy announced that they would collaborate and combine resources in the creation of a new fighter jet, referring to their program as the Global Combat Air Program. In addition to making the aircraft one of a kind, they are combining BAE Systems Tempest from the United Kingdom and Italy with the FX project. As mentioned earlier, in Japan, Mitsubishi Heavy Industry would be in charge of the project, IHI Corporation would oversee the making of the engines, and Mitsubishi Electric would handle electronics. The first fighter is scheduled to be under development by 2030 and fully operational by 2035. Also, Japan plans to work alongside the United States in the production of drones that would accompany the F3. And this project is scheduled for 2023. Now that we fully understand the development process that is involved in making the FX stealth fighter and the collaboration included, let's delve into the details of the fighter jet. This aircraft is equipped with 2 engines, a proof of how it dominates the sky. According to Japan's Ministry of Defense, the jet's advanced technology and abilities have made it a 6th-generation fighter. It is bigger than the F-22, which automatically means that it has the capacity to carry a lot of weapons. Interestingly, its developers want it to have more capacity than the powerful and relevant F-35. Now, to its stealth abilities, the FX is now equipped with built-in sensors that would make it easier to spot even the stealthiest aircraft. The sensor includes an ESA radar, a passive RF sensor, and an infrared camera. The sensors utilize gallium nitride to make them work better. The radar AESA on the FX is similar to the one found on the F-35. In addition, the jet possesses a self-defense system against enemy aircraft and missiles. It is designed in such a way that it detects threats and immediately disrupts their radio signal with its inbuilt antennas. To make it even harder to detect, it has some special design features. For instance, it has twisty air dust and a hidden compartment where weapons can be stored. The jet is also equipped with special materials on the air, duct and engines that help to soak up radar waves. These materials are made from carbon and help reduce how much radar bounces back. Tests have shown that using these materials can make it twice as hard for radar to detect or spot the FX. Leaving no stone unturned, they also made use of something called metamaterials, which are made from different materials like metal and plastic. They put these materials on the radar system to also control how radio waves bounce off the aircraft, making it almost invisible to defense systems. The Japanese developers were very particular about making this aircraft the stealthiest ever, and to achieve this, the jet is equipped with a special kind of antenna called plasma stealth technology that readily bounces radio waves off. The antenna creates a kind of gas called plasma, which can change its properties when electricity is applied. When turned on, the antenna can also send and receive messages. When push comes to shove, this fighter jet is always ready to defend itself and its crew. It is equipped with ASM-3 missiles. It also has a microwave weapon that enables it to stop the enemy's missiles. This weapon gets turned on by the fighter's radar and uses special amplifiers to work well and stay small. Well, that's all on the Japan FX fighter. Now let's go into the details of the most powerful, feared, and renowned fighter jet that has been created and is still in service. This jet is none other than the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. This aircraft is an American fighter jet that is designed to be efficient and reliable in any mission that it is involved in. It can perform both air and ground strikes without limitations. One of its most unrivaled features is that it can perform electronic warfare, like gathering intelligence, and also watch over areas. In the creation of this jet, Lockheed Martin collaborated with renowned weapon companies, Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems. The jet is powered by just one engine, and that doesn't make it less fast. It is known to have the ability to fly very fast and quietly, so it is hard to hear or even see one. The United States makes use of this aircraft for missions related to destroying and stopping the enemy's air defenses. In terms of structure, the F-35 has a unique design, with two vertical tails that helps the jet to stay hidden when tilted up. Also, it has special paths on its wings and tails that enables it to fly without a hitch. The fighter's engine is designed with special inlets that propels the jet faster. It's made from strong materials like composites, which make up a large part of its weight. Because it can carry a lot of weapons and equipment inside, it's heavier than older fighter jets. The F-35 technology for the mission is regarded as very complicated. It possesses advanced tools that enable the pilot in the cockpit to understand what is going on around him, which would allow him to control the aircraft better. These tools also help the F-35 connect with other aircraft and systems that are available in the area. Some of the important gadgets include a special radar that was created by Northrop Grumman, an electronic warfare system from BAE Systems, an electro-optical distributed aperture system that was also developed by Northrop Grumman and Raytheon, a targeting system from the main developer, Lockheed Martin, and a suite for communication, navigation, and identification from Northrop Grumman. The jet is designed in such a way that all these gadgets it is equipped with work together smoothly, like the radar, which also helps with electronic warfare. Remember that it was earlier mentioned that the F-35's configuration is very complex? Here is another reason why. Most of the jet's computer programs were written using the C and C++ languages. The software for Block 3F, a special version, has about 8.6 lines of code. Also, the fighter runs on a special operating system called Green Hill's Software Integrity Do 178B, which is made for real-time tasks. It uses certain types of data networks, like the IEEE 139 through their fiber channel. To make it easier to update the software and add new advanced features, the fighter jet uses common computer parts that anyone can buy. As expected, creating the software for its mission, especially making all the sensors together, was one of the hardest aspects of the project, and it caused a lot of delay. This aspect is more sophisticated than the FX software. The APG-81 radar on the fighter can quickly move its arms around by utilizing electronics and can detect both active and passive targets that are present in the air. It can be used for various tasks, like finding other aircraft, striking a target, and creating detailed radar images. Distance does not even limit its capabilities. Another important system that can be found on this formidable aircraft is the AAQ-37DS, which has 6 infrared sensors. These sensors work by warning the pilot about missile launchers and tracking targets from any direction. They also provide infrared and night vision images on the pilot's helmet visor. The ASCO-239 Barracuda electronic warfare system, on the other hand, has 10 antennas that help to detect radar signals from all directions. This system combines radar and infrared tracking to find threats and jam hostile radar signals to protect the fighter jet. The AAQ-40EOTS is a system that is mounted inside the jet's nose, and it works by targeting with lasers, seeing in infrared, and finding targets at long distances. The ASQ-242CNI suite uses several ways to communicate secretly, including using a special data link called MADL. The system works by combining information obtained from the radar and infrared sensors to give the pilot a clear picture of his environment. Also, information concerning the targeted threat is shared without giving away the F-35 position. Overall, these systems work together to help the pilot see and respond to threats while staying hidden from the enemy. The F-35 would be later equipped with advanced technologies as time passed. In the future, there would be major upgrades to its processor, sensors, and software. For instance, there's a laid-out plan to install new processors and display screens in the cockpits of some of the jets in the future. Lockheed Martin is also working on a better sensor called the Advanced EOTS, which will fit into the same space as the current one that is equipped with them because there are only a few changes needed. They have also partnered with Raytheon to improve another system called DAS. That aside, the Air Force is looking for ways to get the F-35 to control other unmanned aircraft with the use of sensors and communication gear. There is also a plan to put a new radar called the AN/APG-85 in the future. This radar would work with all the variants of the F-35. Similar to the FX, stealth is one important aspect of the F-35 design. Lockheed made the aircraft really hard to get detected. This was achieved by carefully making the shape of the aircraft and using materials that soak up radar waves. The edges of the aircraft were lined up. The skin has small cuts, and the front of the engine is hidden. The F-35's air intake system, called the diverterless supersonic inlet, helps the aircraft by hiding the radars too. Instead of using traditional methods, it uses a special shape to keep radar waves away. This aircraft is really good at being stealthy, which makes it harder to spot on radar. It was also designed to make sure that it remains hard to spot, using infrared and visible lights, and also control how much radio signal it puts out to avoid being detected. While this jet is really good at remaining invisible to certain radars, it might be spotted by advanced radar. To solve this issue, it makes use of special reflectors called Lundberg lenses. The cockpit of the F-35 has a big touchscreen as its main screen, and it shows important flight information like speed and altitude, as well as other details like weapon systems and warnings. The pilot can change how his information is shown. However, the fighter does not have a traditional head-up display. Instead, All the flight and combat information is shown on the pilot's helmet visor. If there is an emergency, the ejection seat can launch the pilot out of the fighter as quickly and safely as possible. The cockpit has controls on the right side for flying and operating weapons. The aircraft also has a system to provide oxygen to the pilot during flight, both from the jet system and from emergency backups. The helmet display that is in this fighter was made by Vision System International. This device is important for how the pilot interacts with the aircraft. Unlike older fighter jets that have their display system on the dashboard, the F-35 puts all the flight and combat information directly on the pilot's visor. This means that the pilot can always see the information. It can also show infrared and night vision images from the aircraft's cameras, and this enables the pilot to see through the aircraft. It also helps the pilot to aim and fire missiles if the plane is not flying in the direction of its target. For instance, if the aircraft spots a target behind it, it can fire a missile without the need to face in the direction of the threat. Each of these important helmets costs $400,000. To maintain the jet's stealthy shape, the F-35 has 2 hidden compartments inside it for carrying weapons. Each of these compartments has 2 segments for weapons. The outer spot can hold up to 2,500 pounds of bombs, or 1,500 pounds for the F-35B model. The inner spots are for air-to-air missiles. The outer spot can carry different types of bombs, like JDAMs, PAVWAT bombs, JSOWs, and cluster bombs. They can also carry smaller bombs, like the SDBs and Spear 3 missiles. The inner spots are for missiles like the AIM-120 AMRAAM and, in the future, the AIM-260 JATM. There are places to store countermeasures like flares and decoy behind those compartments. If this aircraft is going on an operation where its stealth capabilities are not needed, the aircraft can carry more weapons on its wings. There are spots at the edge of the wings for missiles like the AIM-9X or ASRAAM. There are spots on the wings themselves that can carry big bombs, like the JASSM cruise missile. It can also carry a couple of bombs and missiles on the wings and inside the compartments. One of its variants, the F-35A model, has an in-billy cannon that can fire a round of 25 millimeters, which is better aimed at ground targets than the cannon on the other Air Force fighters. The F-35B and the F-35C models do not have an inbuilt cannon, but they can carry a pod with a cannon under their belly. The pods can be used for other things, like electronic warfare or reconnaissance. More capabilities and features, like the ability to carry more missiles inside or adding new weapons like hypersonic missiles or laser weapons, would be added to the F-35. Also, the Air Force plans to make use of the fighter for close air support missions. Its developers are also looking into getting special rockets and ammunition to make it better at supporting troops on the ground. The engine that powers the F-35 is none other than the Pratt & Whitney. It is known to be a powerful engine that propels the aircraft. It produces a thrust of 28,000 pounds when flying at a regular speed and a thrust of 43,000 pounds when flying with an extra boost that is referred to as an afterburner. One intriguing fact is that the F-35 engine also has stealthy designs. For instance, the afterburner was developed in such a way that makes it here for radar to detect, unlike other engines used in older aircrafts. Also, the shape of the exoskeleton also helps to hide the jets from radar and infrared sensors. The shaft-driven lift fan was equipped in the F-35B model, and it enables the jet to take off and land vertically like a helicopter. It is known to be a complicated system that makes use of a fan and special nozzles to control the jet's airflow and also lift it. To make the F-35 a better fighter jet, Lockheed, including his collaborators, plans to make the propulsion system better by developing a new type of engine that would change how the jet works depending on what mission it is involved in. They also plan to make the engine use less fuel, thereby reducing the cost of operations. The Japanese FX clearly has its own advantages and possesses several capabilities that would make it a formidable force in the world of aviation, but the F-35 capabilities are still unrivaled, and it maintains its position as one of the best fighters that has ever been created. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.